What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fit, Healthy, and most of all, Happy podcast. I am your coach and host, Josh, here with
his co-host and co-coach, KG, and I'm in the house.
This is Motivation Monday. Time to get you fired up, inspired, answer some of your top questions, share some quotes, and just have an all-around really good time. So thanks for tuning in today. Incredible episode planned as always, and we're going to jump into our primary question, which is, do you have any tips or tricks to reduce stress? I find I struggle with this a lot, and it actually takes a physical toll on me.
So this is a fantastic question. Honestly, I know a lot of people who are just constantly stressed, and similar to this question for this person, like taking that physical toll, it's one of those things that can negatively affect every area of our life, right? Our mindset, our physical health, our emotional, the way we interact with others. And I am such a big fan of just tackling this head on. Now, one thing I will say is that stress will come and go. Like I think I used to have the mindset of like always trying to get rid of stress, but instead of having that mindset, I'm a big fan of just managing stress. So having typical day-to-day protocols that will just help me consistently manage it, whether it's just a really stressful time, it's like, hey, it's not that I can get this stress to go away, because there will always be things that pop up. And when I used to think that it would be always gone, then something next would happen. Like something would happen to my car, and then something house related, and then work related. And I'm like, hey, it's always going to happen. There's always going to be things that just like bother me and just make me stressed out. But it's like, if I can react to it and have these things in place, it makes such a big difference. So my biggest tip is just like, ask yourself what stresses you out and what helps you when you're stressed. And I've got a list of things here of like things that really bother me and constantly add to me being stressed. And this is the first step, is like actually being aware of this, because I think some people just go about their lives like not really being aware at all. And for me, I know leaving things to the last second, always, like I just feel my body just feel weird when I'm just leaving something that has to get done till the last second. Being late is another thing. Like I just get, no matter what, if I'm like around the time where I have to be there at a certain time and I'm a few minutes late, I just don't live by that standard. So I feel myself like in my body just feeling weird. I got to give myself more time. I'm not going to be late, and I won't let it happen. Scrolling and comparing, that's another thing that leaves me feeling stressed, because you're always, sitting on your phone looking at other people's lives. Like I use social media and I get it, but it's just, I'm not going to allow that to stress me out like it does for others. And then I have a list of things that helps me personally, such as meditation. This morning I sat outside. It's a beautiful day. And morning, 10 minutes of Wim Hof meditation. I felt great. I feel grounded. I feel, incredible even after a not so great sleep. Meditation helps. Walks, and then short breaks. So there's a list of things, and I know Josh probably has more that helps him decrease stress, but those three alone, even lifting alone, I've never left the gym feeling worse unless there was an injury, which has like been maybe a few times out of thousands of lifts. These are things that really help me out, and I'm curious to see what Coach Josh has to say.
Yeah, all killer tips. And for me, more than anything with stress, I think you can get rid of a lot of stress with preparation and really analyzing like what is stressing you out. Is it something you're putting off? And if it's something you're putting off, just do it. And I find that's the best attitude I personally have, because usually when there's something over my head and I'm overthinking it and it's just stressful overall, there's such an opportunity for me to say, okay, how can I just go get started on it? And even if I don't complete it, if you start taking actionable steps, it makes it a little bit less scary. And I find that actually can really resolve some stress. If stress is a result of perhaps like overworking at your work and not having time for yourself, like sometimes we need to make some hard decisions and say like, is this job sustainable? Or can I talk with people at my work and try to work out better hours or something like that? Like you need to look at your individual situation. And they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting it to change. So if you're just doing the same things and you're stressed about it and you just hope it gets better, hope isn't a strategy, and it's not going to get better whatsoever. And I like Kyle's points too of like, there are actionable things you can do to de-stress and feel a little bit better. But more importantly for me, the biggest thing is like, what is that thing I can actively do? What is that position that's really messing me up? And then just getting out and getting it done. And doing that to me is such a big mover. I find another great thing too is scheduling some time for yourself, whether that's time to recover, to lift, to go on a walk, or even just to be bored. Sometimes doing nothing and allowing yourself to be a little bit bored when you've done everything else, of course, is a really good feeling. And to the position of stress, one thing I've always loved is like using whatever stress is in front of me as an opportunity to get out there, knock out that thing. And then once that thing's knocked out, I actually am able to relax and just be in a better position. Whereas sometimes we'll be like, I need to relax. We'll have a thing over our head. We'll be on edge about it and we'll still be in a bad place. So it really helps no one out whatsoever. So getting in front of that, analyzing what is that thing that's stressing me out and just facing it head on is my biggest tip.
Yeah, it honestly makes such a big difference. But I think like having those different integrations throughout the day will help so many different ways. And I even like will say having things to look forward to can be really exciting. I know we always talk about it, but just specific events, like I think it's so easy to just get kind of like life takes over, right? You're always doing something for other people. You know, say, hey, I don't have time for myself. Like you have kids and you're always, running around doing stuff for them. And then at the same time, like even work-wise, right? I know people with their bosses, they always have projects and deadlines and everything for other people. But when you're able to sit down and say, hey, I'm going to do my own thing. Like I'm going to take this time to just, I love that what Josh said about just doing nothing, because I'm so bad at that. Like I always feel the need to just be doing something. And anytime I sit there, like for a few minutes, even if it's just a short break, it leaves me feeling so incredible. So I will say that makes such a big difference. And I know this is probably one of the hardest tips for people to take in, but I will say, like, when you are feeling stressed, like part of me wants to just say, don't stress, and even sometimes I'll notice people getting a little bit worried. I'm like, hey, no stress. Like, it's all good. So I've actively tried hard, and I still could do better at this. It's just like not worrying over the small things. And we've talked about this a few times, so I won't spend too much time on it. But I think a lot of people just get so worked up over, and they call it fear, false events appearing real, of all these thoughts and these things like in the future. And you get so worried and in your head, and you can tell when someone's really stressed and worried and they're kind of doing it to themselves, right? So I really encourage you to just like chill out a bit, take a few seconds, take a few deep breaths. And that's why I say meditation's so great, because when you take a few deep breaths and when you become grateful, it makes such a big difference to realize like, hey, you know what? Like it's all good. Just try not to think about it. You only focus on the things you can control. It makes such a big difference. So I really hope this helped and helps you change your life in one way or another.
Yeah, and another bonus tip, if you will, I think we're the least stressed when we actively feel like we're taking control of where we want to be in life and we're living in stride with our vision for our life. I find personally I'm the most stressed if I feel I'm going away from my vision of what I'm trying to do, whether it's with my discipline, my health, my vision, whatever it may be. When I'm out of alignment with that, usually that's just when you feel a little bit uneasy. So you got to ask yourself, like, is that also because you're eating bad food and you're in this vicious cycle perhaps where you're not taking care of yourself and you're skipping workouts and then you eat a bunch of bad food, then you go and punish yourself in the gym maybe, and it's just this weird messed up cycle, because that can also contribute to the stress that much more. And I love in this question too the example of the stress affecting you physically. Stress absolutely will affect you physically. It's quite a toll. It's actually crazy that you can feel stress in terms of like your body and the effect of it. So it's really important too, you do account for some self-care, obviously optimizing for great sleeps, and most importantly being in line with that vision. And if you're just stuck and you can't get in line with your vision, that's where you need to get some help. That's where you need to get some support. And if you look back in your life whenever you're like, oh, I was super fit, I was cooking, or it was the best time I've ever been with my work, I would guess you're not too stressed. And there's been times where I've had like a crazy load and there's been crazy demand. Obviously this challenge was amazing. It was so great, like bring tons of people in, getting everyone set up, getting my clients set up, getting myself fired up. And I just felt like I was working nonstop, just boom, 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 doing things. But I wouldn't say I was stressed, because I was doing what I love and I was happy. I was helping people and it was in step with my vision. I think usually stress can also be because we feel outside of that. So that's just a little extra bonus thing I wanted to mention.
That was so well said. It instantly got me thinking of another thing I didn't mention, was just like not doing the things I should be doing. And I just can think of so many examples of like, let's just say you have a really busy day ahead and you knew you should have worked out, you knew you should have walked. For me, like some things that I would skip out on maybe would be, let's just say for the business, I know I need to wake up early, do a bunch of things. The rest of the day, I will be stressed if I don't do it, because it's always on the top of my head. So I know that that's something I need to get done, even if it's a busy day. Okay, get up earlier, and get it done, right? So that's where it's like sometimes doing the harder thing where like you want to sleep in, you want to kind of put it off and procrastinate ends up being so much worse, even though you feel better because you got a bit more sleep, let's just say, or you got to like lay in bed a bit longer. It ends up eating away at you. And I know this personally because I've done it a few times and it's just never a good feeling. So yeah, so well said. Being fulfilled is one of the greatest things to lead to less stress, and such great answers here.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and jump into our quotes. And I really love my quote today, so I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. And my quote is, get focused, get ferocious. Dig deep and find that fire inside of you, the one that doesn't take no for an answer. And one thing I've been challenging all my clients with, and we do some exclusive live streams, like little mini podcast episodes where you're able to engage with us just in our coaching community. Unfortunately, this is exclusively for coaching clients, but also fortunately, it's exclusively for coaching clients because you get one-on-one access to us, bonuses in here. They're really, really good time. And I spent some time talking about, I actually messaged all my clients personally and said, hey, for this challenge, I want you to really have the mindset that excellence is going to be your standard. So not just good enough, not half, not maybe, but instead that excellence is going to be the standard and we're going to give it 110%. And I love this quote too, because all too often it's easy to take no for an answer. And even like outside of the box, it's easy to tell yourself like, I'm going to hit my calories today. It's going to be a good day of fitness. And then when push comes to shove and that food's in front of you, you're like, oh, I'll just eat a bit. And you're already actively like lying to yourself, right? You're saying this isn't actually that serious. Or you say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym today, and stuff pops up and then you end up not going. But instead, if you're like, no, this is a non-negotiable, I only go forward with excellence. Excellence is my standard. I'm going to find a way to get this down. It's amazing how much more inspired you feel, how much more in rhythm you are. And it takes effort. Like you got to get a little bit hungry towards it. You need some hoorah, right? And that's why I love this get focused, get ferocious, and dig deep, because it's hard in those moments. So Kyle had shared too, we went over to our buddies for the Panthers versus the Leafs game, and we had hit our calories for the day. Everything was pushed in there with this challenge we're both cutting, and he had like tons of bison tacos, he was having a Corona, he had chips out, and me and Kyle were just sitting there and we're like, nope, we're sticking to our goals, we're hungry, we're not deviating from that. Yesterday we played volleyball, back to volleyball season, so we're pumped for that. Crushed it, won all our games, like 2.5 hours of volleyball. It's a really great time. Save the calories for a shawarma after, and they have a crazy deal for 2 shawarmas. And it's so tempting in that moment to be a little bit weak and to kind of take no for an answer with yourself and be like, I know I only budgeted in for 1, but I'm just going to have 2. But that little softness is against that component of excellence being your standard. And when you just reframe your mindset, say, I don't compromise, I drill through my goals. And like, it sounds hard, but in these moments, when you just start making that higher level decision, it's easier to keep doing that, first of all. And second of all, you really just start to get things done faster, because when you're half in, half out, these are the people that have been cutting for the last 3 years and are miserable and are hating it, and they're always doing these fad diets. But when you buckle in, like, it's amazing what you can do. Like, a lot of people could be pretty shredded inside of a month or two if they really like just got it to it and got after it. So that's my quote, and there are a couple of thoughts about it.
Yeah, it's very relatable to what I have to say for my quote on what Josh had mentioned with those different experiences we had over the first few days of the shred challenge. Like, there's already obstacles of like, gotta stick to it. But my quote here is, you get rewarded in public for what you do in private. So even just, I look at this as many different things. Like, you could look at it from a point of like, hey, you put in all the work on the homework. In public, you're going to take the test, you're going to crush it, right? So you could use it from a school perspective, you could use it from a business perspective, or work. If you're just doing all the work behind the scenes and then you go to a meeting and you're well prepared, like, that will 100% show, but all the work gets put in behind the scenes. No one sees that. But obviously fitness, and that's the thing I relate most quotes to the most, is the nutrition, right? The training, like the days, the early mornings. For some people, there's nobody in the gym, or if you work at home, nobody's going to see you. The walks you go on, but especially nutrition, right? There's so many times you're just by yourself, or you're with people who won't call you out, right? And you can make that lower level decision many times over, and it's just going to keep compounding. And then when you're out in public, whether you're at a specific event, you may not feel your best, whether you go to a wedding and you may not feel great in whatever you're wearing, like, it will show in public. And it's not about being obsessed with how you look, but it's more so about being in line with the actions and what you're striving for. So for this example, like, I want to build the best physique. In the next 8 weeks, I have lots of goals. I want to be under 170. I know I will be. I want to get the abs popping. I want to have the veins popping. So there's so many different moments where I notice, and I have to be aware of, like, man, I got to stick with it. So that example for Cinco de Mayo, like it was pretty easy because Josh was there and we know we have the challenge, and he'd look at me like, bro, you said you hate your calories. What are you doing? Like we'd call each other out. So that's pretty easy. But there's so many moments where it's just like, man, you just got to stick to it, and you gotta just stay consistent with it, because it's so easy to just consistently stop at different gas stations when you get gas, or like bring something to the house, or just, oh, it's just one ice cream, and hey, I'll fit an ice cream here and there, but like I can't get a tub of Ben and Jerry's. Like you have to make those higher level decisions when you're by yourself, when your willpower is low, and you'll be able to reap the benefits long term in public when you're out there ready to crush it, especially with summer coming up. Everyone wants a summer body. I know for a fact you want to feel your best in whatever you wear. So that's my quote for today.
Awesome. And now we're going to get into our thoughts. So one thought I wanted to share was that ChatGPT doesn't have the solution to all your problems. I think ChatGPT is a great tool, but it's amazing, obviously, seeing how relevant it is now and how competent it is as well. You can say, hey, make me a program that encompasses this, this, and that. But I've noticed like time and time again, and I've actually been cautious using it because I feel like it takes that human element out. And sometimes context is everything, right? Like these small little tweaks that make something personable and personal are what can actually be the most important for your results. So I love it. I've been using it as a tool. I've been using it as like a little assistant, if you will. But I think you take out that human element, and I think it's super obvious too in writing. And I'm really hesitant. I never communicate with anyone using ChatGPT. And what was so crazy to me was I was at a conference, and I'm not going to call them out, but there was actually a coach there, a really prominent coach, and they said, hey, all my client check-ins, when they check in with me, I just put all their problems, they fill out a form, I put it in there, and it shoots back out a response to them, and I just send that to them. It's no work on my end. And I just couldn't believe that, because like, and it's not to toot our own horn, but our own check-ins are very time consuming because we do videos back and forth. So you shoot us a 3-minute video talking about your week, what went well, what went wrong, and we see your face while you're doing it. And that's why I've always loved it, because if you're like, hey coach, it's the best week I've ever had, it's like, come on now, right? Whereas in text, you could lie about anything. You could change the tone, you could change the cadence of the message. But over the video, it's really good. And it's almost therapeutic when you're talking about your week, because you're like, I really messed up this weekend. I went over, anytime I watch sports, I go over. And then you start talking to yourself, and you're like, maybe when I watch sports, I'm going to stop snacking. And you start to find solutions, right? And then you have a coach comment on it and say, hey, maybe you don't need to stop snacking, but maybe we need to save more calories. We need to pre-log that in. And it's really effective. But I think it's just sad, obviously, when there's too much of this going on. I think the text of it really reads like a little bit fake to me. So I would just say, like, use it as a tool, use it for research. I find it's like a way better Google to me, but I don't think it necessarily has all the solutions to your problems. And I think getting actually in depth, keeping a human element, really getting into context, because I do find it misses it a lot. Like I've actually asked it to make routines and stuff, and there's actually a lot of things I disagree with. And I'm like, wow, like you would think you're on the best routine for you, but in my opinion and from my expertise, like it's missing some of the nuance that comes with it. So a fun little rant, but just something that I've really been thinking about lately.
Oh, it's so well said, because I just thought of it as well from a different example. Yesterday, someone showed me their meal plan they had created, as well as their workout routine from it. And I'm just sitting, like, the individual didn't ask me for advice, so I'm not going to just give advice. He was kind of just showing it off. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I don't try to just jump in and give people tips if they don't want it. So I just like see so many people try to do this stuff, like free programs, like all this stuff that's just not created, like actually created for them, that just you can't even know, like, and fully understand. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a few days or give it a week. And it's just like, you need like a personal element to it. And that's where like we really over the last 10 years have tried our absolute best to just make it so personalized to the fact that like we understand where you are, what your struggles are, what your job is like, what your family's like, because everything needs to be taken into consideration, and the tips and the workouts and everything needs to be so customized. And it bothers me, like even just in the industry, that so many people take that away and they're just trying to do everything so quickly and so efficient to the point where it's like the customer's not getting the support they need. They're trying to charge as much money as they physically can for the least amount of work. And it's really tough out there. So I will say, do your homework. Obviously, we have a great track record, 98% plus success rate. We've been doing this over 10 years, and you've listened to our podcast many times over. Like, we genuinely do care. So that's my main thought on top of Josh's thought. But my other really big thought is just like, all of you mothers are amazing. Honestly, like if you're listening to this, happy Mother's Day. I know that was, a day or two before that you're listening to this, but we just are so blown away by how many awesome mothers, and we've had thousands actually within our entire coaching program, just want to get back to their previous, pregnancy body, right? And they've come in just not feeling their best, right? You put in quite a few years of just building and doing like a lot of work with your children, and then obviously the pregnancy, and like we just love being able to see mothers fully transform, the energy for their family, the way they're able to keep up, the way they're able to just feel more secure afterwards. And it's just so incredible to see, like, whether it's getting bikini ready, whether it's getting ready for anything at all. It's just, especially mothers, like you put in so much work to others, to build your family, to raise your kids, to do all this stuff. So we want to do something special, and we wanted to bring back something actually we've never done. I think this is probably the first time, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a Mother's Day special. Discounted coaching one-on-one to get you feeling your absolute best for yourself and for your family. So just message us Mother's Day special to Instagram at ColossusFit, ColossusFit. And if you want to get this for your significant other, if you're a guy listening to this, totally cool. You can reach out. If you're looking to get it for your mom, we've helped so many amazing people up to 72 years old transform and feel their absolute best. Or if you're just listening to this and you're a mom and you want to feel your best, message us and we'll take care of you 100% of the time.
Yeah. Shout out to the mothers. Happy Mother's Day. And I always say it, but as a mother, you're spending so much time taking care of other people, taking care of the house, working, doing a million different demanding things that usually it's easy to put yourself last. It's easy to say, oh, my health will come later. Like I'm taking care of everyone else before myself. But I love that analogy that if an airplane goes down and you go to try to put on other people's oxygen masks, you're both going down. Or if you're drowning, right, and you let the person grab onto you, you're both going to drown. So instead, it's really important you put on your own life vest, you put on your own oxygen mask, and that you're taking care of yourself. Because when you have more energy, you're feeling really happy with your life. Like you're going to reflect that energy. You're going to set that example. And even with kids myself, I've learned more and more that it doesn't matter what I say, it's what I do. Like they're watching me. They're always watching me. They know what I'm doing. They're replicating things. So to me, it's a really great opportunity for me to be a better father, to be there for them. So once again, if you're a mother and you've put everyone else first and you're like, hey, it's serious, it's time, I finally make that investment, I see some amazing change, like I want to get my dream physique, because you deserve it and you can absolutely do it. You've already done the hard thing of giving birth, taking care of kids, doing all these different things. The gym should be nice and easy. So we're going to give you a really special deal to celebrate Mother's Day. So do not miss out on this. DM us Mother's Day special to our Instagram at ColossusFit. And we'll look forward to helping you out. But now we're going to go ahead and jump into our client shout out. And it is actually my client, Vanessa Johnson. She is a beast. It's been great really seeing her buckle in, and we're going to have a crazy package for the Summer Shred Challenge. When she first came in, she wanted to get fit, and it's amazing how the goals have scaled past that. So now the goal is to get 6-pack abs, and we're right there. And if you see the photo, you'll see the obliques, you'll see the waist. It looks like two different people. Vanessa has been crushing it. And this just comes down to hard work and consistency. And right now we're really going to that upper echelon of fitness, and we're really having to sink our teeth into everything. But what's so incredible here is that Vanessa has been able to achieve this through a busy life, through starting a business. It's evolved into more self-growth. So it's really great to see as you invest in yourself and as you become fitter, healthier, and happier, how that flow really transfers to the rest of your life. And it really just puts you in such a good frame of mind to really just see some phenomenal progress. So huge shout out to Vanessa. Definitely check out her photos, see her advice, because some killer advice there. And we're just getting started. So get ready for an update real soon. But now we're going to go ahead and jump into the second weekly question. And that is, what do you guys do to keep up strength while resting an injury?
So Josh is a pro here because he just did it, and I look up to him. Right, it's been amazing to see. Like we're back at full force, and he's quite a bit stronger than me now again. So I'm like, all right, there's good motivation. Obviously, you've heard about his shoulder, but I haven't been through a ton. But even just we've had a lot of clients come in post injuries, recovering from something. And, even sometimes things will happen throughout the term where we have to navigate, like maybe they'd be at work and something goes wrong. We're like, okay, we got to figure it out. So that's the main message here, is just always figuring it out. And honestly, I know Josh has a lot of tips and I'll let him take it away afterwards. But one of my biggest things is just asking, like, what can I do? So it's so easy to just like take a few months and just be like, all right, I'm not doing anything, and like look for those consistent excuses. And I know so many people get really excited at that, but I look back to some of my more serious injuries where like I fell off my motorcycle many years ago and I had to figure it out. And I was just so worried about like losing everything. But in reality, like when things would happen, I would always, as hard as it was, try to stay positive and think of the things that I could do, whether it's more rehab, like even if your shoulder, on the topic of shoulders, because, you know, Josh went through that and I've been through it. It's just like, I can strengthen my rotator cuff. I can do things that are going to help me. Not right now, I'm not going to be my strongest, but long term, all of these new habits and these things I do will help me out. But even on that note, like when I hurt my shoulder, it was many, many years ago. I remember I was dumbbell bench pressing and I did 3 chest days in a row. One of them was for filming, and then another one was like, I can't miss my routine. I have to do it on Monday. So I did Saturday. Sunday was a film day. I was hitting 225 on the bench, which was huge for me at the time. And then the next day, I was a little bit stubborn. I had 70s. I went up, and then my shoulder kind of popped, and then it fell and like slid and hit the side of my head. My head was fine. But anyways, my shoulder's never been the same since there. But I remember just being like, hey, I'm not going to take the time off. I'm going to train legs. So I just demolished my legs. And I know Josh can relate to that as of recent, but I think the big thing is just like trying to figure out how you can get the best nutrition, the best sleep, the best mobility, and everything. So when you come back and ready, you feel actually refreshed instead of feeling like you're at square one. So that's my personal biggest tip. I know it's hard for a lot of people to do, but it makes a big difference.
Yeah, and my advice might be a little unconventional, but that's if you want to be strong through an injury, you need to be strong before. If you're already strong and you've been lifting a long time, like it's common practice. It's what your body's used to. So it was even pretty amazing to see. I mean, I haven't actively tested all my metrics, but through and through, I wouldn't say there really has been much strength loss at all, maybe 5 to 10% at most, which I'm very confident I could regain quite fast. And once your body has a lot of muscle, mature strength, you'll notice that you actually keep it a lot easier. Whereas if you just start lifting for a month, then you stop for a month, like you're not going to keep as much of that, right? You're going to lose some of that benefit. So the more you can just consistently train, be strong, work on composition, the more you're able to really just keep that strength and size in your life, and the more you're able to navigate when these things come up. Because I always like to say, we break, we heal, and when you do break, you got to take it serious to put yourself back together and to regain that strength. And one thing I always challenge myself with when I hurt myself or something happens, I'm like, instead of this being a point in my life where I start to go downhill, or I'm operating at like a threshold of where I was, I use this as an opportunity to say, this is how I get even better. This is a chance where I can gain more strength, I can eat healthier, I can improve my composition. And it's a unique mindset, because I think having that hope and having that higher standard, instead of being like, oh, I just want to be able to lift my arm over my head in the next 6 months, like you're not setting a really low bar. And similar, we said previously, like when you set deadlines, you'll find a way to meet them either fast or slow. So obviously listening, obviously investing into getting like the best help for healing, whether that's physio, whether it's massage, or whatever it is that you need to heal up. Like any investment in yourself is always worth it. Trainers, like anything you can do to speed up that process, I find is immensely important. And then not putting limitations in yourself, because I think the worst thing you can do is when you're hurt, stop using that thing for the rest of your life or being scared to use it. It's just going to make it worse, right? So, and like I even saw a funny meme, and it's like, you're getting old when you have a good shoulder, which I thought was pretty funny, because when you're kids, you just had 2 shoulders, right? So it's funny things like that. But when you just have an attitude like, no matter what, I'm going to find a way to get healthy. I'm just going to strive to continually get better. I'm not going to use this as reasons why I can't do things in my life anymore. Like I'm not going to jump ever again. I'm not going to hang. No, that's not the case at all. Like make sure you're doing all these things. You're moving in unique ways, and that's how you'll do that.
Makes a big difference. Like we call it preventative rehab, and it's just like doing all those things beforehand, like making sure you're being consistent with the strength training. I like Josh's tip there, because I didn't even think about that one and how it makes such a big difference. Like, yeah, people will get injured, and it's like those who do and don't have that background of like lifting and doing these things in the gym and all that, it's just going to be so much worse. And it's something a lot of people don't realize, but there's a reason you see so many people being out for so much longer, for those who just haven't done the work beforehand. So super underrated tip, and I really, really like that one.
All right, now we're going to vault into our third and final question. I know you talk quite a lot about snacking, but I'm curious, if you were to have some healthy snacks, what would they be?
So this is a great one, and we always talk about like trying your best to just have whole meals, not snack too much. Like we do find, and I'm not sure if there'd be a study, but it's like, I'd be curious how much more people would overeat just from always kind of grabbing like random things. Like let's just say almonds are there and cashews, and I love chocolate covered almonds. If they're there, I'm gonna need it. Or what's it called? Mini eggs. Like it's just a lot of people overeat just from constantly grabbing stuff. However, there can definitely be a purpose when you're busy, when you need to hit your macros, and maybe a protein snack would be beneficial. And I've got a list of things. I would say my two favorites would be some like fruit. I think it's so great, especially in summer. Watermelon's very low calorie. Mandarins, 40 calories for one mandarin. Apples are great, 80 to 90 calories. Bananas can be great. I do love pineapples. That's the one that can add up a little bit more because it's like so tasty and you can have a couple hundred calories worth. But any sort of berries, even frozen, I used to have that as a snack in the summer, just like eating the frozen berries, which actually tasted pretty solid and gave me like a sweet tooth craving satisfaction. But those are some of my go-tos. And then protein snacks, like to me, anything by Quest has been pretty solid. I don't know too much about some of their newer stuff, but Quest chips I always keep in my house. And it's been very, very helpful for being on the go and needing to like boost my protein up a little bit. Low-fat popcorn can be great. So like even I have some things in front of me, like for 120 calories, let's say I can get 2 cups of low-fat popcorn. Rice cakes for 40 calories, you can get 1 rice cake. Halo Top ice cream for 160 calories, 1 cup. And there's just a bunch of different things, and we call them macro hacks, but different ways to still have something you're craving or still have something you want to integrate, but not have its like full calories. So like Halo Top versus Ben & Jerry's, not going to be the same thing, but 1,000 calories versus 250 to 300, there's a big difference, even though it's not as tasty as Ben & Jerry's, right? So those are pretty much the things that I will incorporate. Protein bars here and there, if it makes sense and I need it, and I'm just like on the go like crazy, I will have 1 or 2 here and there. But yeah, those are some of my favorites and something I'll integrate sparingly.
Yeah, snacks could really, I think the best answers can be whatever you want it to be. Like, I think there's just too much stocks is like, this is good, this is bad. If you're portioning things out, fits within your macros, it's good to have things you enjoy. Obviously, things that are more whole foods, vegetables, high in protein, high in micronutrients, are going to be the most filling. Fiber as well, the most, like you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. If you're snacking on chips, like you're gonna be really tempted to keep eating them, overeat them, and it's gonna be a whole mess. So that's where you need to identify what actually makes sense in your day. My calories are lower, so my snacks are less exciting these days. So lately I've been doing like a Quest chip and a Fairlife protein. It's a lot of protein, but it's a good way to wedge it in. And I do it particularly because it really, really fills me up. So that's something I've been utilizing lately. In the past, I've like a high protein cheese. I like nuts when I have some more calories. I think they're fantastic. Vegetables are always phenomenal. You can even do like lean meats. Like it's funny, like even prosciutto, Kyle didn't even realize like how good the macros of prosciutto are. He's like, I would just eat a whole container of this. I'm like, yeah, why not? Like, of course you'll get some salt, but all in all, it's actually a pretty good option. So it's definitely something worth exploring. So that's how I personally approach snacking. And I do try to minimize it myself because I find if you're in a situation where it's just hard to win, like if you just grab a bowl of chips, it's hard to track it exactly. It's hard to cut yourself off. If no one's around, you're just going to sit there and go through the entire thing. So I try to avoid that when I can.
Very well said. I actually, when Josh was talking about veggies, I have a few things here. Pickles as well. I don't like pickles. I wish I did, but they are 2 slices, 5 calories. Like there's so many great hacks out there that can help you out. We call it the carrot test as well. If you're someone who feels hungry, just grab a bag of carrots, and like most people will say, I don't want it. Like I know it depends, but like depends on how much you like them and whatnot. But most people just want something to have it. So I think it's really important. Like if you are that type of person, like there are some things out there, pickles, carrots, like that are like 0 to very low calories that give you that satisfaction of just like, hey, I need something. Whereas like when most people feel the need to have something, they'll grab the highest calorie, the full bag of salt and vinegar chips and just go to town. It's like 1,000 calories later or whatever. You're like, oh, why did I do that? Could have just grabbed some carrots. May not be as tasty, but it'll give you that satisfaction that you're looking for. And because you've made it to the end of this episode, we really do value you. Honestly, it means the world to us that you've spent this much time with us. We just want to give back with a free guide. And basically this is a macro hack guide. So a bunch of different substitutions and things to add into your day to help you, especially if you are on a diet. It can be challenging if you're constantly hungry and just not satiated. So there's a lot of different macro hacks. And fun fact, we actually started with some of these videos like 8 years ago, going into grocery stores, finding ways to compare and figure out what's better calories. Anyways, message us macro hacks on Instagram and we'll send that over completely free, no strings attached. And if you are looking to get to the next level on your journey, you're a mother or you want to get it for a mother that you know, just message us Mother's Day Special to Colossus Fit, COLOSSUSFIT. We appreciate you so much and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.